Hello everyone. Today, we're diving into some common mistakes and confusing words in English. These words can often trip us up because they look or sound similar, but have different meanings or uses. Our goal is to clearly understand each form so we can use them confidently and correctly. Pay close attention to the spelling, meanings, and examples, and let's see how well you can use these words by the end of the presentation. This presentation will help you understand and correctly use commonly confused words in English. Focus on each example and pay close attention to the explanations and examples provided. Let's begin. Review the spelling and meaning of each form. Focus on understanding how they differ in usage and pronunciation. Disinterested, uninterested. Disinterested and uninterested. Though they may seem similar, they have different meanings. Disinterested refers to someone who is neutral or unbiased, not influenced by personal feelings or interests. For example, a disinterested judge makes a decision based solely on the facts, not personal opinions. On the other hand, uninterested means someone who is simply not interested or doesn't care about something. If someone is uninterested in a conversation, it means they don't find it engaging or appealing. Read each example sentence carefully, paying attention to the context. Notice how spelling and pronunciation match the intended meaning in each sentence. The disinterested judge carefully examined all the evidence before making a decision. Evan was uninterested in the lecture because it didn't relate to his field of study. Read the text carefully, identifying where each meaning applies. Focus on how each form fits within the overall context to convey its meaning. At work, Amora had always been disinterested in office gossip. She believed it was important to stay neutral, especially in conflicts involving her colleagues. Whenever a controversial issue arose, she made a conscious effort to avoid taking sides, knowing that personal biases could cloud her professional decisions. Her disinterested attitude ensured that her decisions were made based on fairness. Her colleague Max, however, appeared uninterested in the affairs of the workplace altogether. He would often sit in meetings with a disinterested expression, checking his phone instead of participating. He didn't care much about team discussions unless it directly affected his workload. His uninterested attitude towards anything that didn't benefit him personally made him seem disconnected from the team. His lack of interest was evident in the way he brushed off important updates. This created a noticeable divide between the two colleagues in terms of their engagement with the workplace environment. Answer each true or false question based on the meanings and examples you reviewed. This will help reinforce your understanding of each form and its correct usage. 1. Mary was uninterested in learning new languages because she found it boring. 2. A disinterested person is someone who has no personal bias or involvement. 3. Matthias was disinterested in the movie, but he still watched it to pass the time. 4. The audience was uninterested in the debate and didn't pay attention. 5. An uninterested person is someone who is neutral and objective. 6. Esther seemed disinterested in the proposal, but she just wanted more details. Read the sentences and select the appropriate form based on context. 1. Elliot appeared uninterested in the presentation, checking his phone during the meeting. 2. The disinterested reporter wrote an unbiased article about the event. 3. Margot was uninterested in joining the party because she didn't know anyone there. 4. Charlie was uninterested in politics and avoided discussions on the topic. 5. The disinterested referee ensured the game was fair for both teams. 6. The disinterested observer watched the debate without forming any opinions. Let's proceed. Review the spelling and meaning of each form. Focus on understanding how they differ in usage and pronunciation. Explicit, implicit. Explicit and implicit. Explicit means something that is clearly and directly stated, leaving no room for confusion. For example, an explicit instruction would be one that says exactly what to do. In contrast, implicit refers to something that is suggested or implied, but not directly stated. An implicit message is one that you must read between the lines to understand, like a hint or an indirect suggestion. Read each example sentence carefully, paying attention to the context. Notice how spelling and pronunciation match the intended meaning in each sentence. The teacher gave explicit instructions on how to complete the assignment. There was an implicit understanding that everyone would contribute to the group project. Read the text carefully, identifying where each meaning applies. Focus on how each form fits within the overall context to convey its meaning. During the exam preparation session, the teacher was explicit about the rules and guidelines. She clearly explained how the exam would be structured, the types of questions that would appear, and the time limits for each section. There was no ambiguity in her explanation, and every student in the room understood exactly what was expected of them. But beyond the explicit rules, there were also implicit expectations that the teacher never voiced directly. For example, the teacher expected all students to follow academic honesty guidelines, but she didn't need to say it aloud. Everyone in the class knew that cheating or plagiarism would not be tolerated. The teacher's instructions were explicit, while the implicit expectations were understood through the context of the educational environment. Answer each true or false question, based on the meanings and examples you reviewed. This will help reinforce your understanding of each form and its correct usage. 1. There was an implicit message in her tone, even though she didn't say anything. 2. Justin gave an implicit promise to help, but he never said it directly. 3. Explicit communication is often vague and difficult to understand. 4. Amy made an explicit request for a meeting tomorrow. 5. Implicit rules are stated openly for everyone to follow. 6. The contract had explicit terms that everyone had to agree to. Read the sentences and select the appropriate form based on context. 1. The explicit instructions were clear, so everyone knew what to do. 2. Her implicit message was clear even though she didn't say it directly. 3. There was an implicit trust between the team members, even without verbal agreements. 4. Felix made an explicit request for more information during the meeting. 5. The manager provided explicit instructions on how to complete the task. 6. His implicit actions showed he didn't approve of the decision, even though he didn't say anything. Great job, everyone! Now you've completed the lesson. You've explored meanings, examples, and even tested yourself with true, false, and practice questions. Remember, common mistakes happen, but each one is a chance to improve. Next time, we'll look at another set of confusing words, so keep practicing, and see you then. Thanks for joining, and happy learning!